Coronation Street spoilers for Friday the 1st of August tease that ABI is on a collision course with disaster, spiraling from one heartbreak to another and dragging everyone around her into emotional ruin. It all began with a truth, spoken too late, and by the wrong person. When Tyrone casually let slip to ABI that Kevin had lied to her, it was like striking a match in a room full of gasoline. Kevin's deception wasn't monumental, at least not in the conventional sense, but it was enough to ignite the fury ABI had been bottling up. What Kevin didn't know, of course, was that ABI was already entangled in something far worse. Carl. She had been slipping away from Kevin emotionally for weeks, if not months, but the physical betrayal was newer, sharper. She had convinced herself that Carl was her escape, her freedom, her second chance at something that felt like happiness. But when the opportunity came to be honest, ABI turned the tables, blamed Kevin's lie for the demise of their relationship, and carefully sidestepped her own infidelity. From the outside, it looked like ABI had made a difficult, but justified choice. Kevin, ever the loyal and long-suffering husband, was left stunned, wounded, and bewildered. The appearance of Carl had been the spark for Kevin's fear. The man had a past, a smirk, and just enough charm to make him dangerous. Kevin didn't like him around. He hadn't voiced it at first, hadn't wanted to come across as jealous or paranoid. But the more Carl lingered, the more Kevin felt his life unraveling. Strangely, not everyone was upset about Carl's reappearance in Weatherfield. Debbie, Kevin's sister, was thrilled. She had fond memories of Carl from years back, and the idea of having him close again made her nostalgic, even hopeful. She wanted family, and Carl was family, or at least, close enough. She supported the budding connection between ABI and Carl at first, unaware of the full extent of it. She encouraged ABI to take things slowly, to not let history repeat itself, to maintain boundaries. Her advice came with a warning: don't tear the family apart. ABI had nodded, feigned understanding, and continued her affair anyway. Each rendezvous with Carl became riskier, more desperate. She lied to Kevin without blinking, telling him she was unwell, needing rest, while she was slipping off to hotel rooms with Carl. There, she felt a flicker of what she thought was joy, but it was short-lived. Because every time she returned home, every time she saw Kevin's eyes searching hers for answers, guilt crept in like a slow, smothering fog. The tension at home was unbearable, but ABI refused to give Kevin a chance to speak. She wouldn't listen to apologies. She wouldn't entertain explanations. And yet, something stopped her from leaving completely. Jack. One night, as she packed a bag with no real destination, Jack walked in. His innocent questions, where was she going, why did she look so sad, pierced something in her. She dropped the bag. She stayed. But she didn't stop. If anything, her trysts with Carl intensified. The secrecy, the danger, became part of the thrill. And then came the moment that shifted everything. Carl, in a rare flicker of morality, told ABI she should consider going back to Kevin. That Kevin, despite his flaws, was a good man. That maybe what they had wasn't worth the damage they were causing. ABI stared at him, stunned and hurt. We've come too far for that, she told him. She couldn't go back, not now. She had made her bed, and in Carl's arms, she intended to lie in it. But just as she began to root herself in this reckless decision, reality struck back. She found a message on Carl's phone, from someone named Fiona. The content was innocent enough, but the name sent alarm bells ringing. When ABI confronted Carl, he hesitated, then came clean, not about Fiona, but about something far more serious. Carl confessed that he'd been involved in illegal vehicle inspections. Marts passed without the cars ever being checked. There were under-the-table deals, envelopes of cash, clients who expected silence. It had started small, he claimed, but it had spiraled. Now, there were whispers of a police investigation. ABI's reaction wasn't what Carl expected. She didn't panic over the crimes, or the danger. She erupted in anger at Kevin. Kevin had known about some of Carl's shady dealings. He had suspected, at least. But he hadn't warned her. He hadn't protected her. In ABI's mind, this was yet another betrayal. Another sin for which she could blame Kevin, conveniently ignoring that the real betrayal was her own. But deception never stays buried in Weatherfield for long. ABI's lies were cracking. Kevin was starting to sense that her anger was disproportionate. Her absences were too frequent. Her stories, too thin. And Carl, already feeling the heat from the law and guilt from his own conscience, was unraveling. The day was coming when Kevin would know everything. ABI could feel it like a storm approaching. She told herself she didn't care. She told herself she would leave Kevin for Carl and start over. She would file for divorce. Cut the cord cleanly. But there was one problem: Carl wasn't sure he wanted that future. Not with the police circling, not with guilt gnawing at his chest, and certainly not when Kevin threatened him. "You've already taken everything from me," Kevin said, his voice low and flat. "You think you're walking away with ABI too? Then be ready to explain everything you've done when the police come knocking." It wasn't an idle threat. Kevin had gathered evidence. He had nothing left to lose, and he was prepared to burn everything down. Carl, rattled, begged for a truce. Kevin refused. So Carl did the only thing he could. He tried to step away from ABI. "I'm sorry," he told her. "I can't do this anymore." But ABI refused to be discarded. She had risked everything. Burned bridges. Lied, cheated, hurt people. She wasn't about to walk away empty-handed. Carl might be running scared, but she was holding on. That's when Carl turned to the one person he thought might help, Debbie. He came clean, or at least half clean. He needed support, a lifeline. But if Debbie ever found out that he had been sleeping with ABI behind Kevin's back, any goodwill she had would evaporate instantly. And fate, as it often does on Coronation Street, threw one final twist into the mix. ABI returned home, expecting more cold shoulders and closed doors. Instead, she found Kevin and Jack practically glowing with excitement. Debbie, it seemed, had booked them a holiday to Mallorca. A fresh start, a family escape. "You'll come with us, right?" Kevin asked, hope flickering in his eyes. ABI smiled. Said yes. She even packed her bags. And then, in the quiet of the night, she messaged Carl. One last rendezvous. One more betrayal. But this time, someone saw. Jack. His world collapsed in an instant. He hadn't meant to spy, hadn't even known what he was seeing at first. But the truth hit him like a truck. ABI, his stepmom, the one who had promised him stability, had betrayed them all. He didn't speak. Not right away. But secrets don't stay silent forever. ABI didn't stray far. After leaving Coronation Street, she moved into a small rented flat on the outskirts of Weatherfield. The silence there was suffocating. No Jack's laughter. No clinking of Kevin's tools. Just her and the noise in her own head. The headlines had faded, and Carl's name rarely came up now. Most assumed he had fled for good. But ABI's mistakes echoed in every room. She tried to keep busy, took a job at a rundown garage across town, the kind that asked few questions and offered even fewer hours. She didn't talk about her past. Didn't mention Kevin, or Jack, or Carl. She fixed cars with grim precision and went home to the quiet. But Debbie hadn't let her completely vanish. One afternoon, ABI found her waiting outside the garage. "You look like hell," Debbie said, lighting a cigarette. "Good. I earned it." They sat in silence for a moment before Debbie offered a folder. "The police wrapped up their investigation. Carl's not coming back. They've frozen everything he had." ABI didn't open it. "Does it change anything?" "No," Debbie replied. "But I thought you should know." 4 weeks after, ABI debated whether she should leave Weatherfield altogether. She had no ties now, no family. But something kept her rooted. Maybe it was guilt. Maybe it was the stubborn belief that one day, Jack might understand. Forgiveness was unlikely, but understanding, she hoped, was possible. Meanwhile, Kevin focused all his attention on Jack. Their bond strengthened through shared pain. Jack, while still hurting, found comfort in routines, school, the garage, weekends with Tyrone's family. Kevin, ever stoic, didn't speak of ABI again. Not once. But he couldn't forget. Late at night, he'd find himself staring at the photo still tucked away in the drawer, the one of him, ABI, and Jack at the beach, taken on a rare happy day. He never threw it out. Just couldn't. It was Jack who eventually broke the silence. "Do you think she misses us?" Kevin paused. "I think she misses what she lost. But that's not the same, is it?" Jack nodded. He was growing up fast, too fast. And Kevin couldn't protect him from everything. But he could be there. Steady. Present. As for Debbie, she buried herself in the garage and kept Carl's name out of her mouth. She took over more responsibility, making sure Kevin had the space to heal. Her bitterness softened slightly, and she occasionally visited ABI, never warmly, never with forgiveness, but with quiet accountability. "If you're looking for redemption," she said once, "don't expect it from any of us. Live your life right. Maybe that'll be enough." ABI nodded. She wasn't expecting a second chance. Not really. But she did start volunteering at a youth center, helping troubled teens with vocational training. It wasn't a grand gesture. Just something to keep her hands busy, her heart working again. One day, months later, she spotted Jack from a distance, walking home with friends, laughing. She didn't approach. Didn't speak. Just watched. That night, she wrote a letter. No apologies, no explanations. Just the truth. "I hurt you. All of you. I don't expect you to forgive me. But I'm still here. If you ever need anything, even years from now, I'll be here." She never sent it. Some days, ABI imagined what life might have looked like if she'd made different choices. But most days, she just kept working, fixing what was in front of her, knowing some things were beyond repair. But she was still standing. And for now, that was enough.